Hello dear students, today we will do the poem. The name of the poem is The Legend of the Northland, which is written by Feb Kelly. A Legend of the Northland is a ballet. A ballet is a poem narrating a story in short stanzas. This story is of the Northland area, the area which is near the North Pole. This exact place is not specified, but Northland means the area in the northernmost part of the earth near the North Pole. And legend means a historical story, one which is very old and has been passed on from generation to generation. Let's start the poem. Away, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. In the region around the North Pole, the duration of the day is very short because its position is such that the sun's rays reach for a very short time. When the area is in the winter season, the duration of night is very long and the daytime the hours are very less. In the fourth line, they refers to the people of that place who lived in that region. The people says that the duration of the day are very less and the duration of the night are very long. And in the night, as the people sleep them through, if they go to the bed, take a few hours of sleep and then they woke up, it is still night time. Second stanza, where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bears' cubs in their funny furry clothes. Sledges means a vehicle on runners for conveying loads or passengers, often pulled by draught animals. To harness means to tie the reindeers with a rope of sledge so that it can be used as a transportation. And swift means runs very fast. The Northland region experiences several cold conditions. It is a snowy area and reindeer is the animal which is found in this region. People tie the reindeer to the sledges and then reindeer pull the sledges, and he adds the children look like young ones of the bear. Why they look like young ones of the bear? Because they have worn the funny furry clothes which are used in winter season. Start the third stanza. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe it is true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. Here, the curious means strange or interesting. In the first line, they refers to the parents or elders, and them refers to the children or the younger generation. The children of the Northland region tell a strange and interesting story to the younger generation. The poet says that it doesn't think that the story is true, but if the poet tells the story to the reader or to us, maybe the reader could learn a lesson from it. It means this is the story which gives us an important message. Let's start fourth passage. Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it, preaching just as did you know. Here, Saint Peter is meaning apostle of Christ or a disciple of Christ. Preaching means to give a religious talk. Here, the story is about Saint Peter. When Saint Peter was living in this world or used to live in the world and went around giving religious talk to the people of that place, just like all saints do, then an incident happened. Little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. Hearth means the fireplace where you do cooking. When Saint Peter was moving around the world giving religious lectures to the people of that place, he reached the door of a cottage where a small woman was making cake. He came to the door of a cottage in traveling round the earth where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. Hearth means fireplace where you do cooking. When Saint Peter was moving around the world and giving religious talks or lectures to the people of that place, he reached the door of a cottage where a small woman was making cakes. She was baking the cakes in the fireplace where the son Peter has seen the lady who was making cakes there. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her stores of cake to give him a single one. Faint means to be weak. As son Peter had not eaten anything for the entire day, for the whole day he had not eaten anything, and that's why he was hungry and he was feeling weak. So he went to the woman and he asked to the woman to who was baking cakes, and he said, for one cake out of the many cakes that she had baked, can give one cake to the son. Seventh stanza. So she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. The woman was selfish. She did not give cake from her store. Instead, she started making a very small cake for the son. She did not want to share her things, she did not want to share her cakes, but when she put the cake for baking, she looked at it and thought the cake is very big. It's too big to give to the son or give to someone. Eighth stanza. Therefore she needed another and still a smaller one, but it looked when she turned it over as large as the first had done. Kneaded means to make a dough from flour. Therefore she needed another. The little miser woman thought that the cake was too big to give someone or to give away, so she started to make another one cake smaller than that one. But when she looked at the cake, she again felt that this cake is very big from the previous one. As she again started to make the another one cake, and she did not want to ready to give the smaller cake to the son Peter. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she could not part with that. Scrap means small amount or small piece. The third time she took a very small amount of dough and tried to roll it. The poet says that she rolled and rolled to lay emphasis on the fact that rolled the dough and made it very thin as a wafer and baked it. But she was so greedy. As she baked the cake, she could not give that cake to the son, and as she was feeling greedy on that also, she thought that this is also very big piece and she didn't want to share that cake also with son. She said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself are yet too large to give away, so she put them on the shelf. The woman, what is she thinking? She said that whenever I ate the cakes, I felt that the cakes are very small. The lady said that whenever she ate the cakes, she felt that the cakes are very small, but when she want to give it to someone, these are looking large. That's why she put all the cakes on the shelf of her kitchen, and she did not give any cake to son Peter. Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. Provoke means here to get angry. Here Saint Peter became angry because lady was not ready to give any cake to him, and he was waiting for that, but still he didn't get any cake. He was very hungry, he was feeling very weak, and the selfish woman was not ready to give any cake, even a small cake to the son. This behavior of the greedy woman angered the son, and he got angry at this. And he said, you are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter, and fire to keep you warm. Dwell means to live. Here, Saint Peter is saying to the lady that you are very greedy, and that's why he gave a curse to the woman and said that you are very selfish she didn't deserve a human life because she had not given any cake to him, and as she was having the cakes. He added that God had given her food, shelter, fire to keep warm, but she did become selfish for all the resources she had. Whatever the same things the lady was having, but she was not ready to give that to the son, and that's why he cursed to the lady. He is not deserved to live in a human being life. Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring, all day in the hard, dry wood. Scanty means very little, and boring means to make a hole in wood by digging. Saint Peter cursed the woman that hence she would become a bird because she did not deserve the human life. She shall become a bird, and just like birds, build her house by boring into the wood or by digging into the wood, and collect very little food by working very hard for the entire day. Similarly, she would also work hard in the dry wood all day to get the little food and make a small place for herself to live in or to survive. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. As soon as St. Peter cursed the woman, she did not get a chance to speak for herself. She didn't have any chance to speak anything in her favor because that was very less time. She flew up to the roof through the chimney and flew out in the form of a bird. St. Peter's curse had converted the woman into a bird. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same. But all the rest of her clothes were burned black as a coal in the flame. Scarlet means brilliant red color, dark red color. When the woman turned into a bird, at that time all her clothes that she had worn on that time that were turned into black because of the coal, but her cap was red as she had worn on that time. This cap was there on the bird's head also, but the woman's remaining clothes had burned and turned black in color just as coal. Country school boy has seen her in the wood where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. Country means belonging to the countryside or rural areas. People who lived in that areas or countryside areas, even the small children also who went to the school, seen this kind of bird in the woods. It means they have seen the lady which was turned into bird, and they have seen the bird. They see that she stays there all the day and keeps on digging the wood with her beak to collect her food, and she got little food. Whenever any child sees this kind of bird, then their elders tells him that this story, and they say that the bird used to be a woman earlier. This was very greedy, and so she was cursed by St. Peter and turned into a bird. They get a teaching that they should not be greedy. Rhyming scheme here, the rhyming scheme which is used, that is A, B, C, B.
The whole poem, the rhyming scheme which is used, that is A, B, C, B. Now we will do literary devices. First is alliteration. In alliteration, if two or more than two words are used with the same sounds, that will be called alliteration device, like little or lesson. LL, the same words are used here. It means that is alliteration device. Second is repetition device. In this, if same words are used one after each other, that will be called repetition device. As in the first stanza, the word which is used, away, away. In these words, away is used and two times, and that's why it is called repetition device. Next is anaphora. Third is anaphora literary device. In anaphora literary device, if two words are used that are same in the beginning of the lines, that will be called anaphora literary device. Here 2 and 2, these are the beginning words and these are having same spellings and same sounds. That's why this is called anaphora literary device. Next literary device is simile. In simile, if, as, like these kind of words are used for the comparison, it means that is called simile literary device. Here the word used as black as coal. Here as is used, it means that is called simile literary device. In this stanza, thin as a wafer. Here word is used that is thin as a wafer. Here word is used that is thin as a wafer. As word is used here, and that's why here we will say it as a simile device is used here. Now in this stanza, which word is used? Look like bear's cubs. Here the word is used look like bear cubs, and the bear cubs are comparison with children. That's why like word is used here. And if like word is used and as word is used, it means it is called simile literary device. Now, and the last literary device which is used here in this poem, that is enjambment literary device. Enjambment literary device means the sentences or the stanzas which is in running form and punctuation marks are not used in the stanzas, that is called enjambment. Like in the second line, when I eat of them myself. Here not any punctuation mark is used, that's why it is called enjambment literary device. In the previous passage, we will see in the previous stanza, like here in the fourth stanza, once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below. After Saint Peter, there is not any punctuation mark is used. It means it is in running form, and first and second line, these are the complete sentence, and that's why we will say it to enjambment literary device. I hope you will be clear all these things. If you are having any problem, then you can ask me or message me about